Welcome to episode 22.
22. Are you sure it's 22?
I just looked before I pressed.
Sworn it was.
Hopefully this is recording this time because we had a little...
This is actually replacing
episode
the lost episode.
22.
This is 22. So last episode
was 21, back us in a corner. Okay. This one is back 22, us out of the parking lot.
Back at it. We're back at it. Actually, I think it's going to be the final hours or the final count because like right now...
This will not be... The Kickstarter will still be going on.
I know.
When this releases.
It's like the final hours with this because like right now... Like right before we recorded, we're like 49 hours away. So we're about to hit that like 48 hour mark. And this has been a really weird Kickstarter. For anybody who's just joining us late, if you're watching on YouTube,
we'll talk about how weird it is in a minute.
You'll see. Well, I'm telling what I'm referring to is we had a Kickstarter. It's live right now. Today is the last day of the Kickstarter, which is April 28th. If you're listening later,
we're recording this on the 26th, and it's like 1 hour before the 48 hour mark where the emails go out saying, "Hey, 48 hours left in this Kickstarter," and that's a lot of times when. You know, Kickstarters will see a little final surge of backers, and we're really hoping we see that too, because as Brady said, this has been a weird Kickstarter.
And besides the Kickstarter, we'll get into that. Like this whole episode will be kind of like wrapped up the Kickstarter, but also before we get into that, this is like last 2 weeks since our last episode. It's a lot that's been going on besides the Kickstarter.
Last week was shot. This previous week was shot.
We have a lot of projects outside of what we can talk about with Twin Tail Studios. We're doing other projects that we can't talk about because they're not our projects. You know, we still do design work. We still do contract work for other publishers. So hopefully we can talk about those soon. But it's been a lot leading up to this. But aside all that, we had the Kickstarter going, and I lined up perfectly with my 15-year honeymoon anniversary, whatever you call it. Like went to Cancun last week.
He left his kids with me. So
not only that, the weekend before I left, because I was just gone. I just got back yesterday at 1 a.m. Today is Sunday. We're recording on a Sunday. So I got back. We got back in Indianapolis on Saturday early morning. Been gone all week. But before leaving, you did something dumb, really stupid.
And you made a because of the situation. It was dumb in the situation. Yes, I decided to surprise my wife and my daughter with a new puppy. I reserved a Beagliere puppy.
Bigliere?
Cavalier. So it's Beagliere.
Yeah, you're saying air, but it's ear.
Well, it's like fancier. So Beagliere is it's a designer breed. It's a cross between a Beagle and a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, and it's probably like the cutest dog breed I've ever seen in my life. Brady will maybe edit in a photo of that I took for it's a really nice outdoor photo.
I tend to not edit, but I might have to edit because it's a cute.
It's the cutest dog I've ever seen in my life. So I saw this dog picture on like every now and then when I figured out a breed that I was going to get, I was checking available puppies nearby in the area every now and then. It's a pretty rare breed to find, and I saw one pop up. And there's a litter, and there was a bunch of them. There's like lots of males, and I wanted a female. But all the males were taken. I don't like dog. I don't like dog boners. But the one, there's 2 females left, and she was, I thought, cuter than the other one, so I went ahead and reserved it. I didn't tell my wife or my daughter. They've both been bugging me about getting a dog for a while. We had a dog previously. When I met my wife, she had a dog that was pretty full grown, like 8 years old or something at the time. And it died a few years ago. And I was like, we're not going to get a dog. We're going to take a break from pets, have a nice, clean, quiet house. And I've had my way for a few years. So I felt like, okay, they've earned it. So my daughter's only living with me for like what, 5 more years before she goes to college. So I figured she might as well have a dog.
With the economy, she'll still be living out.
I don't know. By the time she graduates, maybe the economy will be better, but we'll see. But anyway, I figured they earned a dog. So I decided to get one, and I surprised them the Friday right before he went on vacation. And so his kids were at my house all week, and we had a new puppy at the house. And fortunately, my wife took the week off because she was in preparation of watching those kids. And I was like, oh, hey, on top of that, take care of this puppy. Fortunately, she was thrilled to do it. She loves taking care of the dog. So, been very exhausting week for me, but, fulfilling.
I don't envy having a puppy. I mean, it's a cute puppy. I got to go over there. I get the benefit of just getting to hang out with it and leaving her alone. Like, all right, you guys deal with her problems. I'll just deal with how cute she is. But she's a painfully sweet little dog.
I mean, I'm kind of there because while I do have to deal with it a lot, my wife manages 80% of it, taking the dog out, feeding it, and stuff like that. So I kind of just get to play with the dog and pet it and let it sleep on me and enjoy the cuteness. But there is some frustration. I do have to help out every now and then, obviously. So
I'm gonna hop in the DeLorean though and go back a little further because before that, because like I said, we haven't had an episode since we launched the Kickstarter, so we've been going this whole time running this Kickstarter, doing stuff, being busy. The weekend before that, though, we had a book event, which was not great.
Is this the BoilerCon?
The old BoilerCon. Is it called Alma Mater or Alma Mater? Whatever it's called. Like
the college we went to?
Yeah, the college we went to. There's like a fancy term. I think it's Alma Mater.
People think that I'm way smarter than I really am because I went to Purdue, like engineering school. I was like, no, I went for fine arts. So.
I went for a creative writing degree, which I think the year I went, because they don't always offer a creative writing major, I hear, but like it happened to be when I might have told the story on, I think I've told like the history of how I got into writing, so I don't have to go into that. But like, I was a janitor.
I don't remember you talk a lot.
Maybe that'll be some episode filler. Like I'll later on, if we need to kill some time, I'll go back and revisit why I went to Purdue, how we started going. To
Some
Purdue.
people actually might need to know that you did write books before you started designing games.
Yeah, it's come up a lot like recently because people don't understand why I'm so psychotically obsessed or psychopathically obsessed with my books.
Drop it.
There's a reason they're the first pledge on the Kickstarter. I'll go into that too. Anyway, what I was getting at was we got invited to the BoilerCon, which is usually it's a decent event. It's like a really small scale, like a little nerd convention at Purdue, and it's run by the student union, so it's not like a big budget convention. There's only like a small room with a few tables or booths, but I typically would like
when you say booths, it sounds like boobs, some booths,
some booths, some breasts. So I usually do pretty well at these. Like the last two I've done. I sold some books. I didn't sell anything this time. I barely talked to anybody.
It was a complete waste of time, if I'm being honest.
I feel like people didn't really know why we were there, and it was just kind of. There were some people who were gamers, and they seemed really interested because we were showing the prototype. But obviously, we didn't have any copies to sell. We could just point them toward the Kickstarter. But I guess a lot of people aren't used to that. There's like Kickstarter is like a lot of people get into hobby games. Don't discover the crowdfunding portion till like maybe a couple years into their hobby. So there's a lot of like these new gamers that know what we're talking about. Anyway, so there was that. But then the reason I brought that up is because the weekend after, when you got the puppy, I was busy because I went to Lafayette on Saturday to do an author fair at the library, Tippecanoe Public Library. And then on Sunday, I did one here in Noblesville. Again, didn't sell anything up in Lafayette. I do pretty well at the Mosey on Main Street. Those downtown events that I talked about previously, probably. I do some good sales there. But yeah, I didn't sell anything at the Lafayette Author Fair. And I think it's because we were all the authors were tucked into this little room in the side. There was like no signage, like there's no sign saying, hey, there's an author fair. So we were just kind of like,
this is the library.
Yeah.
Who goes to the library?
Well, I mean, they've done some remodeling. So like they usually have some good foot traffic, but I think it's still in the process of like finishing up that work. So
what was that super nice library you had an event at?
Carmel, yeah.
With that Carmel library? That's a nice library.
I do that one every year because I just love it. They have like a restaurant in there, and it's like so many.
It's like by a school or something. I was like, man, if I was in high school, I probably would have hung out at that library after school.
It's a great like study area.
It honestly reminds me of like a 90s teen show or something.
Yeah, it reminds me of this. It's like the set of a high school like
Saved by the Bell,
a CW show or something. But yeah, it's a really cool area. I mean, if anybody who's been to Carmel, Indiana, it's like it's super nice. They pump a lot of money into the renovations there. So should
I talk about book stuff now? Before I get into the Kickstarter, because going to BoilerCon, you were talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, and that's kind of relevant because there's a backer kick.
Yeah, that's part of why I think we're not getting backers is because everyone's backing these other projects going on right now.
So Brady was reading that and started talking to me about it on the way to BoilerCon, and he's like, "I got the audiobook. We should listen to it." I'm like, maybe on the way back. And so on the way back, he put it on, and I was listening to it, and I was like, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
You're underselling how big of a win it is to have you listen to anything other than your own phone in your car. Because if you're in the car with Adam and you have any suggestions, your requests for music, you just forget about it. Because he has his YouTube playlist, which is like 90s.
I use Apple Music now.
Oh, you do? Wait,
yeah.
When did you switch over? Anyway,
like months ago.
Whatever.
I figured I was paying. I think one time the YouTube was being weird, so I was like, I'll just go use my Apple Music, and I was like, I'm going to determine to make my Apple Music like my YouTube music.
I think the algorithm's getting better because for a while the suggested playlists for Apple was.
I didn't want to build a playlist. I just wanted to. I just wanted to like.
The point being is Adam will only listen to his his stuff, which is like Gin Blossoms and Nickelback and
Dude, I
like-
listen to all kinds of stuff, but like I do
That's what I
enjoy 90s and early 2000s rock.
So I think it was a big win where like I think he was curious enough to listen to Dungeon Crawler Carl, because it's like it's one of these hypes that everyone talks about, everyone recommends, and everyone loves it. So you're like, there's got to be something to this. And it's funny because I've probably told this story many times. I tell everybody because it's a funny anecdote. But I think it was like 2024. Or no, I think it's 2020. Yeah, 2024 is when Relic Myers came out. I was doing a promo for it in St. Louis. Is it St. Louis?
Depends
This always comes up
on what you want
St.
to
Louis.
say. St. Louis.
I never have to say that word out loud. It's one of those names I never have to
I
say.
always say St. Louis.
Yeah, so I was in St. Louis at a horror convention, and at the time, I only knew Dungeon Crawler Carl because I passingly heard somebody say, "Oh, Seth MacFarlane just signed on to like a TV deal with that book series," and I didn't know much about it other than that.
I'm much more excited about that now after those.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. But anyway, so that's all I knew about it. But I was walking around this really. I love hotel conventions, like book conventions. They're so like laid back. They're just like you have a little. What do you call those things? Those conference rooms, and they're just big empty spaces with the carpet and free water fountains everywhere. It was great. I love walking through those, just looking at books. And I bumped into this guy, and I think he was wearing a T-shirt I liked or something, or I forget how we started talking. But he was a big power metal fan, and I think I was wearing.
If he's just wearing like a red shirt, it's like a blank red shirt. Oh, I love that shirt.
I love that shirt, man. But yeah, like he kind of like had this demeanor that that I associated myself with. So it's like, oh, we'll chat, So we were walking around talking, and we got to his table, and he was talking about his books, and it was Dungeon Crawler Carl, and this was Matt Denneman, who I didn't know at the time. But I was like, dude, didn't you just sign a book deal with Seth MacFarlane? And I'm over talking to you about Camelot. It's really weird. So that's how I discovered this book series, and it's weird because after I met him, I started seeing it everywhere. It was like everywhere. Everyone was raving about it. I think I just caught like right when, because he doesn't do these kind of book cons anymore. Now he's doing like he's flying around to the big Barnes and Noble signings and stuff because he's like he's top of the game right now as far as authors go. So it was really interesting getting to meet him, getting to talk to him. Gave him a copy of Relic Myers. I don't think he'll ever read it because he's probably got piles of stuff to read from people, but I feel like he would like it just because of how I read his
Honestly,
writing. And
after reading some of Dungeon Crawler Carl, like his style, it seems like he would enjoy Relic Myers.
Yeah, it seems like up his alley. But anyway, and plus he just like he'd appreciate all the metal Easter eggs in there and stuff because it's all the metal references. So anyway, that's my discovery of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I for some reason did not want to like this series. Like I think it's because you have that weird like hipster mentality sometime where you don't want to like the popular thing or something, where it's like, oh, this is too popular, I'm not going to like it.
Also, like I mentioned on this podcast before, I just didn't really understand the appeal. Like I never felt the need to read it. I was like, there's nothing pulling me in to read this. So it's like, to me, it's like I'm not interested.
Yeah.
But after listening to it on the audiobook, I was like, okay, I can see why people get into this, especially gamers. Like I can easily see why this, because it's kind of a quick, it gets you into it pretty quick, and it's interesting, and the backstory and stuff is interesting. I will say though that when he started the audiobook, while it is well narrated, once he started doing that new achievement stuff, I just could not stand it. Like I was weird. Like, this is so hard to listen to.
Yeah, it's weird because I'll always say that I got like, when I first started reading it, listening to it, that's my first exposure was the audiobooks. Everyone recommended, oh, you gotta listen to the audiobook. So I did, and I got like halfway through it, but like that part in the first chapter where it's like new achievement, and it does it like 30 times.
Yeah, it's not like it's bad. Like
it's well done. It's just too much.
But yeah, there's like there was like 6 of them in a row, and it's like I don't want to hear this, man.
Yeah, and I think it's because like it's so like, I don't know, it's so catering to the audience who's going to enjoy that, and I can appreciate that because I mean it's hitting the right audience. They love it, but like for somebody like me who might just be more, I don't know, like I like to read at my own pace and stuff, whatever it is, it just didn't land for me, so I stopped listening. But then like recently, I think I needed a distraction when the Kickstarter launches, so I picked up the first book randomly, and I just finished it in a day or a day and a half or something. I just chewed through it, and I was like, okay, I get it. So now I'm on halfway through book 3 now, and I hear that book 3 is the weakest of the series, or like I think the most people I've seen review these things, they say, oh, book 3 is like the lowest point of the series, and it's because it's like really in depth describing this like train system called the Iron Tangle, and it's just like you don't really need to know about it, but it spends so much time talking about all these intricacies of the tracks and stuff, and it's like I don't want to keep track of all this. So it kind
What
of
was that meme with The Office where Michael Scott, like, it's like Tolkien or whatever, is like, stop describing the trees. You know what? I'm gonna describe the trees even more.
describe it even harder. So yeah, that's it's a great series. I enjoy it. I get why the hype is there, and it's funny too because I think just from an analytical standpoint, I'm always like analyzing why things are successful, because obviously as an author trying to market my own books, I'm like, what's hitting right? What's speaking to people? And I think it's because you have this huge audience of people nowadays who are like probably the top consumers. The top consumer market is like our generation, people with like some disposable income, and they all grew up playing MMOs, playing video games. You know, all the stuff it's referencing, it's like it's speaking that language that they have, and it's like.
I also think this one is particular. It's interesting because of the way that it's kind of like this. He's playing a game. You know, it's at that lit RPG thing, but he's playing a role playing game that's kind of like the fantasy of a lot of gamers, where it's like they wish that their world just turned into a fantasy world.
All that knowledge they have of like buffs and debuffs and stuff like that
also,
being actually useful.
And also just like it's like playing a role playing game with a group, but you just get to read through it by yourself. Because I remember when I was younger and I was just reading the D&D Player's Handbook, I was always like wishing I could just. I wish I was playing a game reading this book. So that's kind of what I feel.
This is off topic too. Go ahead.
Before I get into that, I was going to mention that after listening to that audiobook, you finished book 1 to we listened to the first couple chapters of the audiobook before we got home. And so I picked up, you had dropped the book off and I just kind of picked up reading where we left off. And I read a lot faster than the audiobook, obviously. And I'm almost like 80% done with the book, which is crazy for me because I don't read. Especially I don't read that fast. I usually read like a chapter at a time. But yeah, I kind of been flying through the book. I will say that I'm losing steam though. It was very quick.
Novel. It was very novel first.
Yeah, the novelty of the novel is wearing off. But it's still interesting. It's less interesting as it goes on for me, where I'm not motivated to keep reading. Also, it might be because I'm distracted because of the puppy stuff and everything.
There's a puppy. There's a Kickstarter ending soon.
I've kind of just been sitting here watching YouTube videos while the puppy sleeps on me, so it's been not really a very productive week for me.
I was going to say too, like, I mean, this is more of an analyzing, whatever, of like these types of stories.
Analysis.
Words.
I was drinking.
Like these kind of like really niche genres. Like lit RPG might not be like a niche genre, but it's very specific. Like it's a newer thing where people. That's what Dungeon Crawler Carl is for people who don't know. Lit RPG is this storytelling method where you're using game mechanics as part of the narrative. So in Dungeon Crawler Carl, he's in like this reality TV show dungeon crawling experience where there's all these rules in place and you pick a class and a race and all this stuff, and there's a lot of like really super high level technology that appears to be magic because it's so advanced, and like that whole there's like a whole slew of authors who write lit RPGs that I haven't really got into. I've only read a few,
and it's literary RPG.
Yeah, and people also call it game lit. Like game lit's another thing, but it's weird because like I get why there's an appeal to that, and I think there's also an appeal. This is why like I wanted to write the like Myers series, because when I've only read a few Harry Potter books, so I know Harry Potter is a big deal too, and I think my theory on that is it's good characters, people get attached to the characters and stuff, but I think what it comes down to, it's like that whole writing summer and then going to school, and like that like the whole like being in school and the social circles and stuff is so universally relatable, that like I think that's why it's successful. And I was walking around the resort in Cancun this past week thinking about stories, because I'm working on the Relic Myers 3 book right now, and I was also ironically watching White Lotus, that HBO show, which if you ever watch White Lotus, it's about a resort, about these characters at a resort. And I think that's also a universal thing too. Like not everyone goes to resorts and experiences that, but I think there's like a universal appeal to this like enclosed area where you're like, you're forced to kind of like socialize with people. Well, maybe not forced to socialize, but you're just like in this little like bubble. You're in this kind of like a school, you're in this kind of social bubble. It's like, it kind of fascinated me thinking about like a series. Imagine a role-playing world, and all these characters are at like a resort in this role-playing world. So it's like almost like a sitcom RPG, like a resort fiction. It's like there's something there probably. That's my book pitch right now.
What's that cat doing?
Yeah, my cat's taking.
Does he not use that litter box?
He doesn't use it very often, but I think it's got a bunch of like stuff that Riley hasn't cleaned out yet. So we have a robotic cat litter machine, litter box, and whenever the kids go to the bathroom, it spins around and it like cleans out the poop.
Why is AI trying to take everybody's jobs when they should be running the house? Like, you should have AI doing all your chores, wash my dishes.
Yeah, I think if there was AI integration into stuff like this, they could do a lot, but instead it's making artwork and
taking all the jobs away, taking our jobs. So that was a little introduction about
books,
things were going on this week. But now let's talk about the Kickstarter and
Speaking
why
of
it's
books-
so weird. So
Speaking of books, you can get your own books right now. If you're watching the YouTube video, look how awesome these are.
So Kickstarters or crowdfunding in general are always hard to pin down formulas for like what works and all this stuff. There's always new strategies and things are changing.
Lots of theories, lots of suggestions.
But generally, like one of the most generally accepted, I don't know, plans
Theory?
or like algorithms is like generally a project will get 30% of its funding in the first couple days. Then 30% of the 33% of their funding
That's a theory.
throughout their middle point of the campaign, and then the last 2 days will be 30 more percent. So like that's kind of how your distribution of funding is. For us, our campaign, we funded in the first week. Like we got like 45,000 or something in the first 2 days.
While you're speaking of that, speak about our conversion rate too, though, because it's nuts.
Yeah, our conversion rate. Well, the pre-following conversion rate, like it's been watered down with the post-launch conversion rate. But we have a decent conversion rate. But the weird thing is we raised $45K in the first couple of days, and then we kind of like struggled to get to that funding like threshold within the first week. We finally did, almost at the week mark, and then we just stopped. Like anytime we got more backers, we would get cancellations. Like, and it would just be like that for like the entire 2 weeks in between. I feel like we should have made this a 2-week campaign. Like it just seems, because we don't have like stretch goals that like, kind of keeps things changing and stuff. It's like, this is what you see is what you get on day one. And there's like, we don't have enough of an incentive to make people like want to back. We had the first, the early birds special where we gave away the free ebooks to try to entice people to back on day one. Which tend to work.
Which was brilliant. I think it was a brilliant idea.
Some people didn't like it.
No, I think it worked well though.
There are people that were like mad that they didn't get the early bird, but it's weird because I don't think they really cared about the ebooks that much.
If someone's mad about the ebooks, like we can probably find some solution, but it's just weird because like I feel like people might not even read the ebooks, but like they just want to know that they have them, which is fine. I get it, but it's like
You're just getting really close.
Well, I was holding it. But I was going to say, though, I think it's important to mention as you're talking about all of these factors is I know people always say it's a tough time for crowdfunding, but like right now specifically, I see a lot of chatter about how that week we launched was like brutal because there was Dungeon Crawler Carl kicking off.
Yeah, look at that Cyberpunk game, 19 million or something.
Yeah, but that was before. That's the thing I'm saying.
I know. I'm just saying
that window we were launching. There was a lot.
Well, there's always competition, so it's always hard. It's always hard to aim a launch date, and for us especially because we were dealing with cancellation at GameFound, and we wanted to relaunch, but we didn't want to. We were basically kind of at the discretion of Kickstarter because we had some promotional incentives like we're scheduled for like email blasts and stuff like that, where we kind of wanted to launch around the time that they had available. So that kind of put us in a weird situation where I don't know, it wasn't ideal. We didn't have a lot of time to plan and build a follower count, so our followers weren't as numerous as we had hoped. However, we funded, which is awesome. It's pretty much all we can ask for is funding. Like as long as we stay funded, we're good.
I'm stoked. Like I don't have the game here down here because the game's packed up for my book shows, but having the game and this book's like set, it's going to be so awesome getting these printed. So yeah, like I want to also make sure people know, because this will be an important point. With this being the last day when they're hearing this is the last day of the Kickstarter, we don't know, because of how this funding is gone, we don't know how soon or if this game can go retail.
It's safe to assume it won't.
Yeah,
unless things blow up in the last couple days, or things blow up in the pledge manager. Like we're gonna have to plan for a reprint campaign to have enough inventory to go to retail, like have a retail release.
That being said, I wanted to make sure people are aware, because one of the things we hear a lot from our previous games is like, oh, like months after it delivers, like, oh, where was this game? I never heard of this. And I get it. There's a lot of noise out there. But if you are hearing this and you're interested, grab a copy, like pledge, so we know what to print, because I think it's gonna make a splash when it delivers. It's gonna make some noise. And
we do want to get this to retail, but backing now will get it for sure, and you'll definitely get it earlier than anybody who gets it retail, because we're only printing enough to fulfill this Kickstarter with a little bit extra, just for, replacement parts and, having some extra to sell at conventions, but it's not going to be enough to have a mass retail release. But assuming everything goes well with delivery and the game is well received and people want more content, we are more than happy to do an expansion. But even if we don't do an expansion, doing a reprint Kickstarter, like a reprint game found, like would it have that new like express funding thing? What's it called?
Is it? I think it's called Express.
Yeah, it's like basically like a pre-order system, but we would be happy to do something like that as well. So we do want this game to be delivered and build people's trust with our new company, because it's a new company for us. Obviously, we did this whole project to show people how we can deliver our games, and we wanted to keep this one simple. We've been, kind of hammered home on that topic, but that's the goal. If it delivers, then we can do more.
When it delivers.
When it delivers and if it is received well, people like it. Is like that's the thing. It's like some people, it might not be the game they want, whatever. But like for us, it's what we want. Hopefully, there's lots more people that want it also.
We have a good track record. We've done a lot of games, and like I said, the reason I say that is because I think the most common thing that's come up when our games deliver is, oh, where was this? I didn't hear this. And it's like I always say, even when we did games for bigger publishers, they weren't always publishers that had a huge marketing spend. They couldn't always push the games as much as they deserve. And it's kind of with us too. Like we don't have a massive marketing spend. We try to run ads. We try to get the word out, but right now it's limited. So hopefully each time we do a campaign, we'll get a widen our audience and we'll make a bigger splash. But if you hear this, go back, because you'll be grateful that you have it. Because even like random, if you don't like it, you'll have something to sell on the aftermarket, because that's
it'll be easy to ship. It'll be one box.
It's not like 10 boxes like some other games. Speaking of 10 boxes, if you've gotten your tracking number for Lands of Earthshade, you're my nemesis, because I still haven't gotten mine. It's annoying. I really want my tracking information.
Yeah, I backed it too. Usually I try to avoid backing games that Brady backs, but this one I just couldn't resist. But now I have to find someone to buy my Oathsworn pledge, because Oathsworn is sitting on the floor right now. I got nowhere to put it. I need to find more ways to store my games.
My only issue that I see with, because this is going to be a game design discussion as well, because like Lands of Evershade, it is so... they say it's replayable, like with those adventures. I'm sure there's some replayable aspects, but it's so narrative heavy that doesn't appeal to me when it's like you're playing through a specific story. I want to play a game that tells its own story. Dude, I want to play a game.
What is this cat doing?
He's gonna fall.
He's gonna scratch my legs.
He's gonna fall. He just gets in weird positions. So yeah, like that's a game I'm stoked about. I don't know how I got into Lands. Oh yeah, Lands of Evershade, because we're talking about a Kickstarter.
I wasn't
deliveries.
done talking about the Kickstarter.
Go for it. Yeah, go back to it. I just, that's on my mind. It's gonna be dominating my thoughts until I get it. So.
What I was gonna say was this depend. It's gonna be interesting how these last 2 days go, and the pledge manager and all that stuff. Like it's hard to say what we're gonna do next. Because
check your phone. I don't have my phone's recording, but see where it's at, because it probably sent the 48-hour notice.
No, that's at 6.
That was 6
because it's at least.
No, it can't be 6 because
6 p.m. is when it ends.
It was 49 hours though, and I checked. So, oh well.
Yeah, but it's got to cross less than 48 hours. It's got to. It's 48 and like a half hour. Or whatever.
Okay.
So 6 p.m. is when it should go out. But anyway, this is going to kind of determine what we do next. I think not just how that does, but like when the game delivers and how it's received, because we're at least me in particular, I'm in two mindsets where we want to support Mouse Light Adventures. We want to show people that we, want to expand the game, and if it's well received and people are hungry for more, and it's a hot topic of conversation, like you said, maybe people are like, where is this game? Where'd this game come from? I missed it. And people are talking about it. That may be a great time to have a follow-up, a reprint, because people are talking about it. It's a hot topic. But if it gets delivered and people are like ho-humming and not talking about it or whatever, then maybe we hold off on the expansion for the next project. We focus our attention on Relic Myers, because we have some cool ideas for what to do for a game in the Relic Myers universe. Stuff that we're both excited about, but we don't really know which one we should focus on first. There's other ideas, of course, but those are the two top ones I think we're looking at for like the next project from Twin Tail Studios. And Brady is working on the next Relic Myers book. I think you just commissioned the cover art.
We got an exciting development on that because when I was in Cancun, we were going to wait till after the Kickstarter ended, but I was getting a lot of work done on the Relic Myers manuscript for part 3, and I'm like 25,000 words into it, and like that's to the point where like I feel like I have a story, like mapped out where it's like, okay, I'm going to start hitting the draft segment probably in May. I'm planning on doing like a month sprint where I can just probably finish the entire manuscript in a month. That's my goal. But because of that, I was like, we should just go ahead and commission this cover art so we could have it locked in, because I already have a strong idea what it should be. And we were approached by a few different artists during the course of the campaign, but one of them stood out. Her name is Jordan. I want to say, because we were joking on text messages about how to pronounce her last name, because I think it's Smydris. Oh God, I already forgot. She told me how to pronounce it, but it's a complex last name, and I want to say it's Smystrel. It's like SMJASTRA or something. I forget, but I'll post it in the social media. We'll share it when it's available, because she should be able to deliver the cover pretty soon. But
Australia.
Let me see. I'll pronounce it when I see it. Where's the word? Where is it? Yeah, it's Smystrela. Yeah, because she said it's like kind of like maestro, like Smystrel. I think it's
that's a
strange. It's
spelling.
A very Slavic name. I think it was. I looked it up where I think it was Barovia. It's a Barovian name, I think it is. But
Barovia.
I'll post her Instagram author Instagram profile or portfolio. She does some really cool work. But she'll be doing our book 3 cover, hopefully some art for the game too. When we figure out the plan for the game, it's going to be a lot of cards, I'm sure. So we'll have a lot of card art. Stoked about it. So yeah, aiming for a October, maybe not Halloween, but like sometime in that spooky season, I want to like hit a fall release for the book. We might not do
spooky,
a game until
scary,
like
werewolf bar mitzvah.
I guess it's a good transition. So you can talk about like what's next, because you were talking about the Kickstarter and like what might be next. You've already mentioned like we have some possibilities. We're not sure what they're going to be. Originally, I wanted to do like for book 3 of Relic Myers, do a book box like this of books 1, 2, and 3. Even though it's a 4-book series, because we talked about this before. Like I would do, if we did a box set like this, which we might not, but if we did, it would be, here's a temporary 3-book set. When you get the 4th book, you could buy the box set of the 4th book that comes with a game box as well, filling that gap with the 3 books held. So there's solutions in there regardless. But
personally, I think I would, if I were you, I would just want to print paperback like books individually and sell like.
So we do that anyway.
I'm not put on demand, like print a batch of like, But I mean, do novels usually typically, like when new novels come out, they have to do hardback print run and then they do paper?
They don't have to. They do it because it's a wider profit margin. They're forcing people to buy the more expensive books.
I know, but like, is it standard that you
lots of publishers will release a book.
They refuse to do paperback until
they'll do a year, like 6 to 12 months of the hardcover on sale, because they want to get the bigger sales. But then they'll shift to paperback, and it's just a marketing thing, like most publishers. But like not all publishers do that; just the big ones do, because it's kind of the standard practice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still like. It's too late.
I don't consider these hardcovers. These are hardcovers, but it's more like these are vanity type things where it's like, this is just we're not doing this for the profit margin. It's more.
I'll be curious that when we deliver those, if people like want more of that, like they like that collector.
Yeah, this is very much for me. This is like these books.
Yeah, Brady really
my size, because like
really forced me to do this one.
I always was a huge fan of the mass market paperbacks. You grab them off the shelf and like you can like read them with one hand while you're doing other things. Like not other things, but but like easy to carry. Like put them in a pocket or backpack. I've always just loved this size. So this is mostly for me. If we deliver this and it's like people are like, oh, this is too small or whatever, we'll happily adjust to what is more accessible or whatever. But this is what I wanted to have these myself. So
yeah. And also I think our next project, we're going to do a little bit more with the Kickstarter or GameFound, whatever platform we decide to go with. not keeping it super simple because we've hopefully built trust with backers with our first project, and people will be ready to go all in on Twin Tail Studios. So
yeah, because I'm sure everyone's aware, if you're a backer of crowdfunding, you know that typically when games go on crowdfunding, they're not ready for print. They're concepts. They have like a strong demo, a vertical slice of the game, they call it, but the game's still in development. So we would probably take the same approach because we want to have a game that is kind of influenced by the support the community is giving it. So we could like plan stretch goals and develop the game around that roadmap. So we'll probably, like Adam's mentioned before in this very episode, we wanted to keep this small just to show here's how we deliver games. And then when we do a bigger game, it'll be kind of this established understanding that like, okay, now this game is under development, so it'll be like a longer delivery timeline probably, like most games are.
We put a lot of our own money down for when we started this company and started pretty much getting the Mouse Light Adventures ready to print. Like, if people look at the Kickstarter and they see that, estimated delivery time and it's kind of shocking, it's because we decided we wanted to make sure this game was done. Like people ask me, like, when I post on Facebook or whatever, saying in a Facebook group saying, oh, weren't you part of Blacklist? Who's going to run your money this time? Who's making financial decisions? There's no financial decisions to make. Like the game is done. Like there's no budget. It's just like talk to the factory, get the quote, get the shipping quotes, get all that stuff sorted, all that stuff, and then it's ready to go. We get the funds, we manufacture, we ship. There's really not a lot of budgeting there. It's like it's very, very basic.
Yeah, and I mean you're a project planner, by day. So your day job is project planning. So
I have experience with it. So yeah, I mean, like I said before, I got my start in the industry as a game producer at Fantasy Flight Games. So doing budgets for Descent Second Edition kind of gets you thrown into the deep end. So nothing new.
I have quite a bit to talk about when it comes to video games this week. But before I do, did you want to do your the listener question, the podcast
There was one podcast question that I saw that actually might be a chunk of time. Not too long, but might be 10 minutes or so to discuss. Jayhawk6 said, I'd love to hear in a dedicated segment on the next podcast, in his own words, Adam's story of Avatar, the board game.
This is in his own words with Adam Sadler. This is a new segment. We're starting this.
So this is kind of interesting. A couple interesting things about this. But when I was going to college at Purdue,
I went to Purdue too.
At Purdue, I was working part-time as a design assistant at Mega Brands, which is a company, I think it's out of Canada, but it's basically they make the Mega Blocks and lots of toys and puzzles and stuff like that. But anyway, there's a design studio that was based in Lafayette, Indiana, and it was first of all it was like Random House, and then like other got bought out by something else, but eventually it got bought out by Mega Brands. And I was working there in this old brick building, and I was working like as a design assistant, which basically I would go into this little sample room and I would glue together empty boxes with puzzle packaging wrap, glue, spraying lots of glue spray. I probably have horrible cancer from these fumes.
Horrible or just regular?
Horrible. But it basically aerosol glue cans or whatever. The ventilation was terrible, but my job was basically putting together these samples for like trade shows and stuff like that. So they would have empty boxes to put on the shelves to show off their puzzles for the quarter. And eventually I got moved into like doing graphic design work while I was majoring in fine arts. But I was doing basically like cleaning up packaging. It wasn't really that in-depth graphic design stuff. But the funny thing was that my manager, after I got moved into graphic design, was actually Tom Mason. And Tom,
what's weird is our miniatures director is actually named Tom Mason too.
If those of you who might notice, Tom Mason is our miniatures designer on Mouse Light Adventures. So he did all our miniatures. We've been wanting to work with him for years. We've known him it's almost like 15 years now or something. It was a long time. But yeah, that's how Tom and I actually got to know each other.
Fun note about Tom. I think it was around that time. when the Facebook was still kind of relatively new, like not super popular.
It was very new.
But he started a Facebook group called the Sadler Twin fan page, which I think
he actually had a T-shirt too.
We were like the only 3 members, is him and us.
The Sadler Twin fan. Yeah, he had a Sadler Twin fan T-shirt he wore at Gen Con one year. This is when we were working at Fantasy Flight Games. But anyway, Tom was my manager, and there was another guy that I worked with named Scott, who was kind of the guy that was in charge anytime they had to do like a board game, which was kind of rare. But they wanted to do a board game for a new license. They had a license for Halo Wars, which was a new video game. I don't even know what Halo Wars was. Like,
it was like a real-time strategy game, I thought. Like a point and click.
Yeah, I never played it, but I'm very familiar with Halo. I played Halo a bunch.
The angel game?
It's like, yes, it plays an angel, and you have like a little
like angels in the outfield?
Crossbow.
It's like angels in the outfield, right?
It's like a vertical scrolling game.
So you're playing baseball? It's like angels in the outfield.
But anyway,
let's go on for now.
Anyway, so we got the license for Halo Wars. They wanted to do a board game, and they didn't know anything about it, and they didn't really know how to make a game for it. And at this time, I had just been getting more serious into board games. I was playing Descent: Journeys in the Dark, the first edition, Arkham Horror, Runebound, that Zombies board game. That's when we got the first one I bought, I think. But we just started getting into Fantasy Flight Games and getting into deeper games. And Tom actually played a lot of games too. Like, he was a big miniatures guy. He grew up on like Necromunda and stuff like that. So we actually, I forget what brought this up, but we got talking about Warhammer or something, and then he, opened the door like, wow, Tom and I have a lot in common. And he told me that he sculpted like HeroClix miniatures, like Superman or Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, something like that.
I think it was Bruce Wayne.
But I was like, wow, man, you actually make miniatures.
That was like a celebrity thing for me back then. Like, we weren't that.
He did some stuff for Reaper miniatures. Like,
we weren't that young. We were like in our 20s. But I was like, oh my god,
That's pretty young, dude. Like early 20s. Yeah, early 20s.
I was just I was like starstruck.
Well, this is like right before you started writing for Warhammer.
Yeah, that felt like a fake thing. It felt like it wasn't real.
So anyway, Tom and I were gamers, and so I kind of just said, hey, yeah, I take a stab at it. Like, I've never designed a game. I never thought about designing a game before, but I play games, so why not make one? This is when I realized that there was actually a job you could get of like making games. Like, I never even thought,
without an engineering degree.
I never even thought about it. Like, oh, I can just design board games. I didn't even think about that as a thing. And so that's when I started noticing names on boxes. Like, oh, who's Kevin Wilson? He's on this Descent box. And I was like, oh, maybe he just has a job making games.
I didn't even
think about it.
I had a much different idea of who I thought Kevin Wilson was before I met him.
The weird thing was I ended up being his manager. It's crazy. It's so weird how life.
If you're listening, hello, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. It was a very short-lived management role for me. But anyway, I told them that we'd be happy to take a stab at it. So we decided to just make a simple cooperative game. And it had to be super simple because it was mass market. And so, our mandates were like, it's got to be 12 and under, rules on one sheet of paper, like nothing too, complicated.
That's hard to do.
It was a lot harder than I thought. And especially as my first game design ever, like, trying to design a mass market game was strange. But we put together this really simple concept of like, rolling dice. And I'll be honest, I don't even remember how this game plays because it's been so long, but I think you rolled dice and collected things to take back to the center, and you had to...
Yeah, my memory is that you were like, the dice were almost like workers. You were like rolling to see what you produced, and then you got things that you spent. Like,
I forgot how you lost though. Like, I don't know if there's a timer involved or something. Oh yeah, like I think that parts of the tree would break away. But anyway, we designed it to be Halo, and then like throughout the course of development, the license thing fell apart.
What was the tree though?
It was a base, like an alien base.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But it basically we had to retheme it to Avatar, the movie. They were like, okay, we got the license for this. Let's just make a game for Avatar. And so luckily the concept we had still worked, because it was like we just replaced the base with a tree, and there you go. Instead of getting supplies, you're getting like essence or whatever the Avatar movie was.
Navi, is that what they're called? The Navi?
I think that's what the people are called. I think they're not Avi. Not Avi. But anyway, we designed this super simple system. We thought it was like, okay, this is probably too simple, but it works. The game works. It functions. It's kind of fun. So we took it to the meeting of like the head honchos and like the board to like get approval for the design. I think I have a photo on Facebook of Tom and I watching them try to play this.
I'll try to find it.
It blew my mind because they were having the hardest time understanding. Like it was like so complicated for them, and we were like, we didn't understand because we thought this was too simple. And it really opened our eyes to like what mass market really means, like how simple you have to make something approachable.
Yeah, a lot of these people who make these decisions are used to playing games like either Trouble or like that games. They're just always based on
rolling a die and moving,
universal assumptions, like things that you would just assume this is how they operate. So
it's so funny that people always just assume you roll a die and move.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch a show and they're making a game like How I Met Your Mother when Marshall makes his game, it's like you're always rolling a dice and moving on a board. It's like candy, like candy.
That's the indication that it's your turn. Here's the die. You do your thing with the die, and
so it's like no, you can move anywhere you want. You move here and you roll.
But what am I trying to do?
So that was a struggle, but we kind of, as we showed them the game and they understood it more, like, okay, well this is, now that I'm catching on, it's pretty easy. So, Tom kind of went to town on the graphic design and laying out the rule book and all that stuff. And he was kind of managing the project because since he was my manager or whatever, I was just kind of just there to help with the game design. And that was my first design. And the interesting thing was that when I applied to the game producer role at Fantasy Flight Games, I applied toward the end of my career and my college career. And I was hoping that when I graduated, I'd have a job to move to Minnesota. That's where Brady was working at FFG at the time. And unfortunately, I didn't get the job. I was shocked because the interview went so well. I thought the interview went amazing. I interviewed with Corey, Michael, Sally, Christian. I don't know if Christian was there. I think we were in Christian's office. But
it's funny you say that because my interview, I knew right after it was terrible, and I knew I didn't get the job. But then I got a second interview, and I also got the job on the second interview. So the same thing happened to me, but different feelings.
It's weird. I found out later though, talking to Corey, that like. I think the sense was that they thought I was more interested in being a game designer than a producer.
That happened to me too. Yeah. But I said it. I literally said it
because they I didn't say it, but
I said this is just a way to get my foot in the door.
but Corey did say that he thought it was impressive that I was the only guy they interviewed that like actually designed a game, and they thought that was a sign that I was more interested in being a game designer. And I was like, no, I mean, I was like, I actually am more interested. This game producer thing seems really cool. I'm good at project management and stuff. But then, of course, I transitioned into game design very quickly. But yeah, that's the interesting thing is that game is what got me probably my job at Fantasy Flight Games, and it also got me the confidence to step up and just design Journey's Descent Second Edition. Because when I was working there, I was basically going to be the producer on the game because I was super excited about it, and I kind of made it a point to my boss, like I want to work on this game. But there was no designer that was available to work on it at the time. And so I kind of just started designing it. Like I didn't even ask for permission. I just started doing it. And eventually they were just like, okay, well, Adam's going to be the designer because he's already got this going. And it's like, it's kind of just made me learn that like, if I want to do something, you just do it. Like you don't really wait for like someone to give you the permission to do it. You just do it. Like if you want a job, just start doing the job. Just do what you can to make it happen.
If you want a book, you just got to write it. Just write the book.
No. Stop making it about your books. But yeah, so that was, I think I think you can actually go and see some pictures or something on BGG. I don't know. I haven't looked in a while, but I think it's on BGG. But I think I have a copy sealed that I have. I don't think I've opened a copy since I think I only have one.
Why would you?
I mean, I usually open my games, but yeah, it's on my shelf of designer
honestly,
games.
this I mean, that whole ordeal, that whole was pretty integral for me becoming a designer.
Analysis.
It's like an hour late.
Callback.
It was kind of integral for me becoming a designer because I was like, if a couple of dum-dums like these guys know how to design games, then I could probably do it. Because in my
hey, Tom's not a dum-dum.
Yeah, I mean, at the time he was. I think at the time you can agree you were dum-dum, right? You're working at Mega Brands, it's just
whoa.
Nothing wrong with Mega Brands. But I do think that like my perception of being a game designer back then was like you had to go to school and learn science and math, and like you had to have a roadmap to how to design something. It wasn't like I didn't really realize it was a trial and error. Like, we'll just try something.
It's weird too because back then I also thought like if I wanted to be a video game designer, I had to know how to make 3D models, which, you know, like obviously if you want to be like an indie game developer, you kind of have to make your own assets, which is actually the biggest hurdle I've had with video game development. Is like I don't want to make the assets because it takes so much time. I actually enjoy doing art and stuff. I probably would really enjoy pixel art, but it just takes so much time.
It is.
Like
it's more mostly like I think that's what you have to dedicate yourself to because it's just time consuming.
I mean, sometimes I wish I could, but like now that we're starting this company and stuff like that, I feel like I even have less time to do stuff like that. But anyway, it's like you can just be like a systems designer or something and do video games and just like design, you know, game systems, which I think I'd be good at, but I have no chance of getting a job doing that.
We have about 10 minutes. I mean, we're not on a timer, but like roughly.
For what?
For game talk, like video games discussions, because I have a lot of video games to talk about. Because, like I said, I was in Cancun, a lot of traveling. Also,
so I just go lay down.
A lot of weight. I mean, you play the video games too. You've been playing UFO 50. We've been talking about that.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna have a chance to talk.
You start then.
I'm falling away.
Well, you just finished. You just finished talking for 30 minutes about.
I'll chime in
about
when
yourself.
Done. I'll chime in when you're done.
When you're done talking, I want to talk about.
When you're done talking,
I'll talk about my.
When you're done talking, I'll chime in.
I'll say the EverDrive. So everybody knows who is listening to this knows that I love my handhelds, my retro handhelds. I play Mod Retro's Chromatic a lot, which is like a Game Boy Color device. Really awesome. I have a lot of cartridges for it. Mod Retro releases a lot of original cartridges, original games or unreleased games, which is pretty neat. But lately I've been trying to collect a lot of old school Game Boy games, like the original Game Boy. And then I came across this concept I hadn't thought of, but there's this thing called an EverDrive. If you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see me holding it up here. It's this little cartridge. It looks like a Game Boy Color cartridge. Hopefully it's recording this time. But it's got a little button up here that accesses the menu when you're playing it. And then here's the Chromatic here just for visual appeal. But it has this SD card slot right here. So this right here is it's got this program, the firmware, whatever you call it, for the EverDrive GBX. And there's an EverDrive for each type of retro console, like Nintendo, Super NES, Genesis, all those different. They have like cartridges that are shaped like the original cartridge, and it has an SD card slot. So all of the entire Game Boy and Game Boy Color libraries on this SD card. So when you pop it into this and then put the cartridge in the game,
so True Lies is on there.
True Lies is on here, so you can like go to this menu here. If you're watching this, there's games. You go to games. You go to Game Boy. You go. I want to go to True Lies, so you go to the R through Z, and you find the T's, and you find True. Where is it? True Lies. Bing. And you load it up, and you can play True Lies.
Let me play it while you're talking.
So this was my savior during my plane rides, because I had 4 different flights. I flew from Indianapolis to Dallas to Cancun, and then from Cancun to Miami back to Indianapolis. A lot of waiting around. This was awesome. I got to re-explore. It's loud. The speakers are pretty good. I have the headphones. The Chromatic headphones are really, really good too. They really get all that digital sound.
I remember this game in particular because Mom and Dad, maybe you bought it for me for Christmas, but like we would used to
Mom
do
and
this
Dad
thing
bought it, but it was from me.
We would wrap it early and then hide it. But every time they would go out to dinner or something, I would get it out of the closet and use an X-Acto knife and cut the tape and then look at the back of the box.
Yeah, he did that all the way up through all through high school and stuff. Like the Christmas, like there's no point in wrapping presents anymore. But anyway, yeah, I got to play like all the old Game Boy games, like ones that I spent a lot of time with as a kid, like Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening. But then new ones I kind of missed out on, like Harvest Moon 3 for Game Boy Color. I played the original Harvest Moon for Game Boy, and I hated it because they took out the entire town section. They made it into a menu, so if you left your farm, you went to like a menu. Oh, do you want it? That's loud.
Oh, is it?
I mean, I can hear it, so I'm sure the mic's picking it up.
I doubt it.
Well, look at that. Look at the little. You can see the visual cues on it. But anyway, yeah. If you're like me and you love Game Boy, that's a must-have.
This game is terrible, by the way. You can't dodge bullets. You just have to get shot constantly.
Yeah, most of the games I played were actually pretty bad, but there were some really good ones. And it's weird because like even though they're bad, I still enjoy the process of like rediscovering a lot of old ones.
Yeah, I'm saying that, but when I got a Chromatic, I bought True Lies, a cartridge for it on
you
eBay.
Have it?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? I don't know.
But it's like it only works sometimes.
The nice thing too is if you hit that button, you can. Where's the button?
Dude, I just got an Uzi.
I know.
I just got the Uzi.
It's not going to stop the game, but you can Oh, you must have hit A. When you hit the button, it pops up a menu, and you can like say save state or return to menu.
He just totally deleted my game. I just got to use it.
So you actually like save your state, and it's the thing about this too is like I had a knockoff because like there was a what do you call it, a ROM hack for Pokemon Crystal. It's called Pokemon Polished Crystal. Somebody made a bunch of changes to it to like, you know, better UI, all these different changes to the game, and it's really nice. But the cartridge I bought, because like you can buy like a knockoff cartridge of it, it was cool, but it didn't have a battery in it, so you couldn't do like the battery save, and you couldn't because like Pokemon Crystal uses a clock, like an internal clock, so there's a day-night cycle, and I couldn't experience that because it didn't have a battery in the cartridge. But with this, it actually does have a battery in here. So like if I play Pokemon Crystal, the original version, it's got the day-night cycle, it saves it and everything. So you can like actually like a lot of, you know, ROMs. If you play a ROM and you hit save game, it won't actually save it, because if you overwrite your save state, it'll reset the game essentially. But here it's like if you save it. I'm playing Survival Kids and I save the game, I turn it off, turn it back on, load that ROM up. It still has the save there. So it's like, it's a perfect way to experience old games. And if you like Game Boy and Game Boy Color, it's weird. Handhelds, I have a weird affinity for vertical handhelds. Like I love the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, even though I like the Game Boy Advance library, because it's like a vertical handheld, I still prefer just like playing it this way.
Horizontal.
Oh yeah, I said yeah, like the Switch. Horizontal.
I corrected. He got it wrong.
Imagine if Switch 2 made a vertical version, like a Switch 2 version, a Switch 2 Mini. That was like a
never
vertical.
play my Switch handheld mode. I always play on my TV.
I know, because it's huge. But if
I know,
it was
but
smaller,
I would want to. I want to play on a big TV, man.
I'm a big handheld person. So that's what I've been doing a lot of. That's what I did a lot of during my vacation, playing a lot of my, because like this thing sat around for a while. If you've been listening to our episodes,
I haven't touched mine since I got it.
I know you shouldn't have bought one, but you still did.
I bought it as a collector's item because I knew that I just wanted to like play with it, Tetris or whatever.
I got one for Oliver for Christmas, and he's never even played it, not even once.
You should put it away. You should hide it. Like
I did. It's in my drawer. It's mine. Like I didn't give it to him.
You'll probably sell it for some money someday.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I'll keep it, because if I happen to get another one of these, I can like play with Sarah or something, because I have a link cable, you know, so I can play like 2-player games. So that's been
those
really
are nice.
fun.
Those are nice products, but the problem is there's not enough games I want to play on it. So
that you should look up that Affinity game. Infinity.
I mean, if I had that thing, you know, I might use it more. But like, I don't want to spend what is it, $100 or something, $120.
It's expensive.
Yeah, I don't want to.
It's a luxury thing.
Yeah.
But that Infinity game, if you look up, if anybody is also curious about newer games in this format, there's a company besides Mod Retro. It's called they're called Incube 8. So it's like the number 8. So it's Incube and then the number 8. Incubate, but they do a lot of original games as well. But they have this game called Infinity, and it was actually a game that was getting developed for the Game Boy Color back in the early 2000s, but it got canceled, and I think it's a Canadian developer or something. But it's like this really complex RPG with lots of characters, and the battle system is really cool, because it's not just like a turn-based combat, it's like a tactical turn-based combat. So like you have a grid, and then you move your guys around. It's like kind of like Advanced Wars, you know, that kind of combat, but like all the characters are very unique, and that game is actually releasing like in a final format. They kickstarted it. It's getting delivered probably into this month. I think it's shipping right now, so I should get my copy soon. But you should check that out, because it's an RPG that you might dig, and you can play it on your Chromatic on the cartridge.
You'll have to tell me again, because I spaced out what you were talking about just now.
I'll send you the link. Aside from
I
that,
was thinking about the fence we just put up.
That was exciting. Yeah, that was really exciting. The other thing I want to talk about, though, was UFO.
Before you get into that, the Diablo expansion comes out on Tuesday.
You mentioned that, but I haven't heard it.
Lord of Hatred is it's getting awesome reviews, man.
When's it
People
launch?
Are on Tuesday.
Because I
have it. You own it.
So I can try out this cultist.
They changed the Dance of Knives to be a core skill now.
The core, so it replaces like the. What was the one?
The whole skill system is overhauled now. Like, there's no more passives and stuff. Like in the skill tree, you're basically just modifying skills, and it's way
everything.
No, it's easier. It's way any build works. Like that's the cool.
That was
thing.
the hard part, because I only wanted to play traps, and traps never seem to work very well.
And they basically brought armor set bonuses back, but they put them into talismans. So like you can actually get like set bonuses for this talisman without worrying about your gear.
That's cool.
You don't need.
I'd be excited to try that, because I've been playing way too much Switch upstairs. I miss playing Xbox.
They got rid of potions or elixirs and incense. You don't have to worry about those anymore. They just they just gave you more XP now, so you don't have to worry about it. So you just always have it equipped.
So you don't have like.
There's no reason to make them anymore. So
wait, You said not potions.
Elixirs and incense.
So potions still exist.
Yeah, you still have potions. Yeah, I just meant the elixirs. But yeah, I'll be playing that on Tuesday, hopefully, if the dog lets me. But
Kickstarter lets us.
Kickstarter ends, man.
I know.
It's the Diablo's in the evening, so like it's over.
So yeah, 48 hours is going to hit pretty soon here. It's 5:45.
15 minutes. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, I was going to mention too before we leave, we can close this out. But I was going to mention the UFO 50, which is a game that's probably old news for a lot of people because I remember hearing this. I think it was like late last year.
Yeah, I think Corey was talking about it, and I was going to get it on Steam, but I was like, you know what? I'll just wait till it comes out on console, and then I totally forgot about it until Brady got it.
Well, I mean, luckily I did forget about it because I probably would have bought it for a different console, but I'm glad I got it for Switch because it's like a perfect game for Switch. I
love my Switch now, dude. I'm always that's all I ever play now.
I'm glad I picked up Switch 2, but if they do make a Switch 2 Mini, I'll probably get that.
Did we talk about that? I don't know if I talk about this on this podcast, but that leak where they're doing an Ocarina of Time remake. Yeah, we'll keep going on there, but we're talking about Switch real quick. Ocarina of Time remake and a new Star Fox game in the summer. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you're not subscribed to the Nintendo Voice Chat podcast, subscribe to that because it's great. Like it's since I've been getting back into my Switch, that's an awesome podcast, and they talk about that stuff all the time. That they had like an entire episode dedicated to the Star Fox rumors and the rumor that it being like a 4-player co-op focused game is so
if it's
cool.
not, it's stupid. Yeah. Like it's dumb.
But anyway. Yeah. So aside from all that, Switch is awesome. But you bought this, yeah? Because
I did not buy the collector.
Yeah,
I just bought the $25
if you're watching YouTube,
version.
If you're watching YouTube, you'll see this cool UFO companion. This is a cool little strategy guide booklet thing that came with the deluxe version of this. I bought the physical version of the game, and it came with that book. It's really cool. It's like if you're not familiar with UFO 50. Most of you probably are because, like I said, it's old news by this point. But it's this like collection of fake 8-bit, right? 8-bit games, like Nintendo games.
This game right here, Vanguard, you should.
Yeah, I played it. Yeah,
it's
cool.
like a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like
I only played a little bit of it, but it was pretty fun. But yeah, it's like 50 kind of random old school games from the 80s from this fake company called UFO Soft, and it's funny because this book that came with the deluxe version, it's like this Nintendo Power style collection of flavor text around the games, like strategies and stuff, and like screenshots and art.
This onion delivery game is impossible.
I couldn't get the hang of that.
The controlling is terrible.
So like all these games are of a variety of genres, and it's cool because the game itself, like when you open up this game, it's like it acts like an old school game, but it also has a save slot for like if you have 3 save slots, you open up one and you access the 50 cartridges. They're all dusty. So as you like discover each one, you dust it off and you play the game. But each game has its own like achievements you can get with them, so you can go through and like kind of try to get like gold in each of the cartridges. But there are so many cool games, and like they're all of that same like technological threshold of Nintendo games and everything. But it's just really clever design work. So it's just really cool to see like modern design takes.
Holy crap! Have you played Cyber Owls?
Yeah, I haven't
played that.
I don't like the stealth. I like the beat 'em up. But there's a stealth version that's like Metal Gear. I didn't like that at all. But like most of them, that one's like Operation Wolf.
there's a game that's like a train heist where you're playing like outlaws on a train. That's a really fun one.
Capella 3, which is the next page. Capella 2. This game I'm really obsessed with, but it's very hard because you can't save it. Like you pretty much have to do.
You're in a spaceship and you crash all the time.
So it's like if you played Solar Jetman, it's like that where you have like you hold A to boost your ship around, but your ship has fuel. So like the more you boost it, the less fuel you have. But you can land and hop out as your little pilot and go into like doors that have like a little side-scrolling dungeon crawl mode to get more upgrades. It's a really cool.
I like the tactics game. That was a really fun little game too.
My son Oliver, he's always bugging me to play the combat ants, like you're playing as ants, and it's not very fun. I mean, it's a cool game, but he's obsessed with. It's kind of a stalemate situation.
It's like a kid's thing where like one cool thing happens and they get stuck on it, and they just think it's like the most fun thing ever.
Like Mortal, like he did and did you know on Mortal, like when you do that, like arrow of power, because like Mortal's a side-scrolling game where you have like 99 guys, and like the whole idea is
20 guys.
Well, in Mortal 2 you have 99, but yeah, you have a number of guys, but you're sacrificing your guys constantly to do like different abilities to progress this level. So in Mortal you can like
there's the ritual of arrow where your guy dives head first into a wall.
He shoots like a missile straight ahead, and if you do like press down and B, you turn into a stone and drop to destroy things below you and create like a platform. And then you can do like the ritual of bombs, which is like you press up and B to blow up, self-destruct, and blow up some terrain. But I read that you can like combine them. So if you hit the missile, you can like hit B and turn and like blow up before you hit something. So you can like so like you can also do the missile and then turn to a stone and drop. So like you can really mess with how you combine your rituals.
It's clever. Like there's some clever game design going on. It's like anybody,
very clever.
It's like $25 if you buy the digital version. So if you
and this was only 40, I think, for the physical.
It was 60.
Was it?
I saw it online. I was gonna grab it, but I was like $60. I'll just because I want that book, but I don't really want a physical copy of the game. I just want to download it.
Yeah, there's. I mean, it's a regardless of how you get it, it's a great game.
If they sold that book separately, I'd probably grab it. But
I think they do. They might sell it, so you might check the site.
I might check because I'd get the book
because they do the same thing with the Harvestman with Stardew Valley. You can buy the deluxe edition of Stardew Valley, but you can also just buy the book separately. The guide.
I'll check.
So yeah, that is we're like an hour and 5 minutes, so we filled up a lot of time here. But this is the last episode of our current Kickstarter. So like I said, if you haven't backed the Kickstarter and it sounds somewhat intriguing, do it now. Get yourself a copy of the books that I'm psychotically obsessed with, and the game Mouse Light Adventures, because who knows if it's going to go to retail just yet. So get it now. Help us establish this company so we can do lots of other cool projects. Anything to add?
Hope you're back in the Kickstarter. If not, check it out. And,
check out his dog.
And if you miss it, you can still late pledge. Don't worry about the time limit. Like if you miss the Kickstarter, you can late pledge or you can jump on the pledge manager. So hope to get the game. Hope you get the game.
Get your chromatics. Get your
I don't care about that. Don't worry about that. Save your money. All right.
See you next time.
Thanks.